So in this video, we are going to be talking about the CIA ninja bomb, laser weapons, and John Bolton's secret 7 a.m. meeting at the CIA with almost everyone in our national security state well for, except the U.S. President Donald Trump. And guess what? We're going to cover this news in a critical point of view, not promoting it like the mainstream media and other even alternative media now for some reason, because we're financed by you, the viewer, a donor who goes to wearechange.org/donate and at least gives $5 a month to support this independent media organization. Because if it wasn't for you doing this, we simply wouldn't be here. Again, we don't shill out for the left, for the right. We don't shill out based on political allegiances. We cover stories critically and give you the bigger perspective here, which usually is predominantly anti-war, which is missing from the bigger dialectic. But regardless of that, let's get to the news here, Jason, because first of all, this meeting, it sent chills down my spine, hearing the larger implications and knowing the larger implications of what could actually be happening here. All of this, of course, as there's a brewing conflict looming between the United States and Iran. But Jason, this is our national security advisor, which yesterday, even just a few days ago, we reported that Trump was saying, allegedly, that this guy's trying to get us into war. He, again, had a secret meeting that he convened at CIA headquarters last week with, again, top intelligence, diplomatic, and military advisors to discuss Iran. All of this without the U.S. president there. Let's play the clip here. Do you want to introduce it?
Yeah, again, this is MSNBC, and apparently this has only been leaked to NBC amidst fears of possible military covert action or retaliation for nothing, apparently, against Iran. So let's just get into it.
Or false flag, Jason, which we're going to get into in a little bit.
Reporting here from NBC, new details about what's being described as an unusual meeting between some of President Trump's top intelligence, diplomatic, and military advisors convened by the president's national security advisor, John Bolton. NBC News has learned, according to 6 current U.S. officials, that Bolton gathered CIA Director Gina Haspel, Acting Defense Secretary Patrick Shanahan, Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff General Joe Dunford, Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, and Director of National Intelligence Dan Coates for a 7 a.m. meeting last week at CIA headquarters.
Pause there. All of those individuals are recipes for war. You need all of those individuals to convene in a war. There's no denying that at all here. And this is, again, John Bolton, the warmongerer, neocon himself, assembling all of this like it's some weird, creepy, satanic Avengers group coming together in the underground bunkers of the CIA to plot destruction and murder. This is the opposite of Avengers, guys. And just consider John Bolton to have that like ring finger being the CIA, the FBI, the DOD, the Pentagon, all those other officials. That's my analogy here. Let's keep it going.
Those officials say national security meetings typically are held in the White House Situation Room and that it is extremely rare for senior White House officials or cabinet members to attend a meeting at CIA headquarters. Wow. Let's bring in one of the reporters on that story, national political reporter for NBC News, Carol Lee. Okay, Carol Lee, fill in the blanks on this if you would. Why was this so significant, and what exactly were they talking about over at CIA headquarters?
Well, we know that it was significant because this is just not how these meetings are typically held. Usually they happen, as you mentioned, in the Situation Room in the White House. There's a secure meeting room. They can review all sorts of very classified and highly sensitive materials there. So it raised some eyebrows because it was held at
of the apocalypse
CIA headquarters in Langley, Virginia, and this happened on April 29th, early in the morning, and it was led by National Security Advisor John Bolton. And I think that you can't sort of underestimate why him overseeing this meeting has gotten people's attention, because obviously he is an Iran hawk and he has advocated in the past regime change in Iran. So, you know, they wouldn't say exactly what was discussed in this meeting. We were told that it did not have anything to do with the intelligence that led to, a couple days later, the decision to move a carrier into the Persian Gulf because...
Yeah. This is where they're wrong here, Jason. Now, you even called this up by finding the press release, which talked about this carrier going in there a month beforehand. But John Bolton, again, new evidence based off no evidence at all, not showing it to anyone. Just believe us, coming from the White House. All right. New information coming from the White House. There's a new threat. Iran's going to attack us. Everyone's asking. I think it was only Chris Hayes, one of the only individuals I saw. We covered this and played Chris Hayes' video yesterday, who said, where's the evidence of this? Other than that, everyone's like, Iran's going to attack us. Iran's going to attack us. And I'm like, wait, where's the evidence? No evidence provided. This aircraft carrier was going there anyway. And again, they're just drumming the beats for war. They want conflict. They want war. And this is scary, Jason, because yesterday, Donald Trump allegedly, according to the Washington Post, came out and said, this guy wants me to get into a war. This meeting is done at CIA headquarters away from Donald Trump. Donald Trump did not participate here. So it is something to worry about, specifically when it comes to false flags, Jason. But before we get into that, do you want to say anything?
Yeah, I mean, if you take a look at where that information came from, that we were going to possibly, maybe, sort of, kind of, almost get attacked by Iran in the Gulf region, or
wait, in the Gulf region, not in the Gulf region, in the entire Middle East against some kind of American or American forces, the most generalized warning you could ever have.
Yeah, again, it wasn't necessarily going to be the Iranian Revolutionary Guard. It could have been people.
Jason, really quickly. Yeah, the warning, it was pretty much like sitting at a restaurant and getting a menu that just says food on it. Nothing else. That was it. Sorry. Go ahead.
Come to find out who gave us this warning. Well, the Israeli Mossad reportedly outlined a number of scenarios in which the Iranians would attack. One of them would be riding on the backs of pigs flying, because that's how real these warnings were. But like you said, our aircraft carrier was already going there, but now we can have more of a military presence. And to think to ourselves that this meeting had nothing to do with our strategy in Iran, one of the very last dominoes to fall in the quote-unquote war on terror and axes of evil that we were introduced to after 9/11, would be extremely naive. She goes into a little bit later in this clip, Luke, I'm not sure if we're going to play that, how one of the only people that would hold meetings in the CIA was Dick Cheney. And we all know how loving and anti-war Dick Cheney was. He was always trying to bring the troops. Oh, wait, no, he wasn't. That's right. Dick Cheney was that huge proponent of the Afghanistan conflict, of the Iraq war, of trying to get us to get into even Iran and Syria then. So it's so odd that a guy like Dick Cheney would be meeting with the CIA, and one of his neocon buddies, John Bolton, would be doing the same.
Yeah, it's all the same demented crew. It's all the same demented gang with other individuals like, of course, Gary Hart, another CFR national security spokesperson that has been out there. And there's been many spokespersons out there that like openly have been talking about creating a false flag, creating an attack that was done by the United States, orchestrated to make it look like it was Iran to start a conflict. This is publicly talked about by the Council on Foreign Relations, by individuals like Gary Hart, who are associates, who are friends with, of course, John Bolton. We confronted him on this, by the way, years ago. In 2008, we're talking about 11 years ago, we were talking about the U.S. government trying to set up false flags for war. This is most likely, again, this is my opinion here. I have to tell you it's my opinion because I can't base it off any evidence, but I can base it off my research that I did it before. I believe personally, in my own opinion, that this secret meeting was done most likely about not only the future conflict of Iran, but also the potential of using a false flag. That's my opinion. I have nothing to back it up. But again, talking about this thing on a larger scale, attacking the United States could be the stupidest thing that any country would ever do, since the United States spends more on military than, again, the top 6 or 7 countries combined below it. It has the largest defense, it's not really defense, the largest military spending in the entire world, where we literally, Jason, we have missile-killing laser jet weapons. We have CIA ninja bombs. We have the latest technological robotic Terminator-like technology killing machines. Why would Iran, who is not as powerful as the United States, whose economy is, what was it, 1/30th, 1/20th the size of the United States, whose military, why would they commit proverbial state suicide and attack the United States? It absolutely makes no sense. Yes, Iran is a foe to Israel. That's the bigger landscape here. It's a foe to Saudi Arabia. That's the bigger geopolitical landscape here. It's a very convoluted, complicated one. Therefore, the United States gets involved. But it would be idiotic on the world stage for Iran to initiate this conflict, and it would be something that would be just suicide, and they realize that. So again, this absolutely makes no sense at all, in my opinion, Jason.
Yeah, and if we look at these weapons, although the laser weapons that are being used to shoot down missiles have not been officially deployed onto jets, the Ninja Bomb has. In fact, it's credited with killing Al-Qaeda officials back in 2017 in Syria. And I've got to admit, listen, I'm not a pro-warfare guy, but if you look at what this missile does, yeah, it's a sophisticated killing machine, but at least it's not going to have as much collateral damage. I will admit that. For what it's worth, this thing deploys giant blades that then cut through the target and chop that person up, rather than a large explosion that will take the toll on many of those around it. So in that regard, great, but also in the regard that they can pinpoint one person with a missile like that and cut them up, pretty scary. And once again, you know, we talk about Hezbollah and the rockets and the attacks on
just
Gaza.
really quick, how much is one of these missiles worth? I bet tens of millions, if not hundreds of millions, one missile bombing a guy in a $5 tent. This is absolutely stupid. And again, it's a Hellfire variant that is, quote, more humane approach than explosives. To me, it's like, hey, can we not have more blowback? Can we not just create more cannon fodder? Can we not kill people in the first place? There's no need for it. In many instances.
Yeah, and again, this is the guy that was shredded in Syria. When they are so technologically sophisticated, it is extremely dangerous. And like I said, they've gotten their wars just about everywhere else. Hezbollah is very upset over the Iranian mining sanctions. Remember getting rid of that deal. In fact, you know, something we didn't talk about in this is the president just yesterday was talking about possibly charging John Kerry with the Logan Act because of his relationship with Iran. So,
it's been used against his government officials in the whole Russiagate thing, the Logan Act. Again, no one uses it. We started talking about it because of Bilderberg, but now they're finally taking this old law out to proverbially use against political foes here, Jason.
Yeah, so when you hear about the Logan Act all of a sudden and John Kerry, and now people coming to Kerry's defense, of course, you know, can John Kerry actually be charged with the Logan Act? Well, I really didn't think Michael Flynn was going to be able to charge with the Logan Act either, because we've been preaching about the Logan Act for well over a decade with legitimate uses. You know, to just kind of wrap this up, guys, we really have to keep our eyes on John Bolton and the war hawks around him. Shanahan was just nominated as the Secretary of Defense. I see no reason why he won't get that. They called Gina Haspel Bloody Gina for a reason. Stop putting your head in the sand. Take that out now. This administration is as war hawkish as it could possibly be. And if you thought he was draining the swamp, he's filling it again and again and again with hawks like Pompeo and Bolton.
But look at the economic sanctions. Look at even the oil exceptions that have been taken away. Look at getting rid of the Iran deal. Look at the very aggressive actions, even making sure that the civilian casualty list is no longer public for the people to see that were killed, of course, by U.S. drones. Look at those actions. They speak for themselves. And seriously, if you're a Trump supporter, you have a lot of moral conundrums to think about. Jason, that's it. Do you have anything else to say, or should we close it off here?
That's about it for me.
So thank you guys again for watching this independent media broadcast that has been always anti-war, anti-murder, anti-death, you know, common, simple virtues, common, simple things that people should stand behind, not just for political power and ploys. And if you agreed with that, share this video with your friends and family members, because the YouTube algorithm definitely won't. And it's really up to you to survive and sustain independent media. If you like critical thinking, if you like outside the box thinking, if you like anti-establishment thinking, your participation in having those voices is more important than ever. If you guys don't do it, we go silent and go out of business. And again, it's a very crazy, insane media landscape. We need your help more than ever. And I want to thank everyone who is doing that. Stay tuned for more here on wearechange.org.